I love hoop. And so, I go out and I talk about the game and I talk about my favorite players in basketball. And Candace is one of my favorite players. And so, been a fan of so many different things, but I'm a fan of the person I know who's overcome so much, to continue to be all the things that she is. How? And how is that? Like, MVP
yeah.
and Rookie of the Year?
I just came in and was just playing free. My daughter as well, who made me see that, like, this is normal. This is her normal. And we focus so much on, like, what's normal, but it's like, what about our normal? It was always so cool to, like, see all the things that you go through, to see all the things that you've accomplished, but to know you kind of from the beginning-ish. I love my people hard. I've always just been so proud of you, man.
I had my Sidekick out around that time. This was 2008.
No, it was the Dwade Sidekick with the basketball. Like, he had like a basketball textured on the back of the Sidekick.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it was coming off. It was coming off the 2006 championship, so it was a white and gold,
super nice
kind of vibe.
Super nice.
And I had like a few, and we argue about this internally because some people don't think they got one. But I had a few people I could send them out to. You only get about 10.
Right.
And I actually sent one to Candace.
Yo, I rode that thing until the wheels fell off. Till literally the screen was coming off with the basketball in the back. You could not tell me nothing. I remember I pulled up to class and I had it and I just sat it on my desk. Like, everybody was walking past. I'm like, yeah, this me right here. Yeah, like, because that's a big deal in college, man.
Trust me.
Like, it was a big deal. So it was always so cool to, like, see all the things that you go through, to see all the things that you've accomplished, but to know you kind of from the beginning-ish, and to, like, see that. I remember the first time we were, like, both in our 30s, we're like, oh, we grown now. Like, look at us. We so grown. Look at us.
We out here.
It's true. So I've always just been so proud of you, man. Like, so proud of who you are. And obviously we connect on, parenthood a lot.
Yeah, for sure.
So it's been the little sis looking, but also like a little big sis, like, just proud of you.
Yeah, I mean, it's so many different levels. And then, like I said, then it's the fan level. Like, I love hoop. And so, I go out and I talk about the game and I talk about my favorite players in basketball. And Candace is one of my favorite players. And a lot of it is not just accomplishments, right? Like, we could talk about them because she has all of them. But it's the way that she's done it. And when I know people who has overcome injuries, like she just said, she was coming off knee surgery in high school, going into college. She still won 5 more championships after that total. Right. And so to know that is to know that a person can overcome, these moments. And these are not easy moments to overcome. And so been a fan of so many different things, but I'm a fan of the person I know who's overcome so much, to continue to be all the things that she is. And so I say that to say, watching you go to the NBA from college and watching you just take over right away, like, that was special. I think you got Rookie of the Year and MVP your first year. How and how is that? Like, MVP
yeah.
and Rookie of the Year?
I just came in and was just playing free. And I had a situation where I was able to do that. Michael Cooper was like, we're going to play you at point. We're going to play you at 3. We're going to play you at, the post player. Obviously, he comes from that Pat Riley.
Showtime.
Yeah, he comes from the Showtime, but he also comes from the running 17s if you lose in practice. And
best condition, hardest working.
And to be honest with you, I think it's undervalued that I played alongside one of the greatest to ever play the game.
Yeah.
So I played with Lisa.
Yeah.
So depending on the night, she might have the best post defender on her.
Yeah.
I might have the best post defender on me. They try to guard me with a 3. We go in the post. So it was a lot of fun to be able to play on that team, run and gun, get up and down, and kind of show my entire skill set.
What year was Lisa in when you came to the Sparks?
Oh man, she was she retired the next year. So she was like 14, 15, something like that.
I saw a stat recently, and I don't know how true it is. I saw a stat that said Lisa scored like 101 points in 16 minutes.
Yeah.
16 minutes?
I mean, listen, that's crazy.
Wow.
I don't know about 16 minutes, but I know the 101 points. But even in like, it's 8-minute quarter, 32 minutes. That's still ridiculous. Think about it. Because they play 8-minute quarters. Still ridiculous, regardless of how you look at it.
It's ridiculous. Oh, first of all, it's ridiculous right now because we got people saying that Wilt didn't score 100, and we had this conversation. I don't want to.
We did.
Don't.
Wait, what?
So
this new generation of kids are now saying that Wilt, because they can't see the footage, that Wilt didn't score 100.
I just posed the question. Because
I felt like that was directed.
Well, we had a conversation about it on the wind down.
Is it real? Because some people say that there's literally no footage, and they did not play at home. They played in Indiana, and
I thought it was New York.
No, they didn't. They played. They did not play.
No footage. I don't know.
There's no footage. So it was never. It was not
I
played.
thought it was Philly.
Yeah,
No.
I thought it was Philly. It was on the East Coast.
I thought it was
New Jersey, Philly.
I believe it
like
was
Jersey.
I just
Philly.
listened to that podcast.
It was a random place they played at. They
Okay,
played
New
like-
Jersey.
See, this is the
We'll
problem
go
right now.
see.
There's too much guessing going
See,
on.
they played at a random place, like at the LA Fitness, and
don't see. That's the thing I'm
you know
talking
what?
about.
My bad. You know what? Because I believe it. But
So now they're gonna say that Lisa or Cheryl didn't score 100 because both of them on record.
I'm sure there's footage of it though. There's footage,
What
man.
do you think about today, though? Because everybody keeps saying that LeBron's record is not going to be broken. But then they also say that there's going to be 200 points scored in a regular season game. Like the scoring is increasing,
Yes,
right?
it has.
Yeah.
That.
Defense is decreasing. So
Yeah.
why wouldn't we think that somebody's going to break
The record
the record if scoring keeps going the way that it goes?
because of the longevity of.
Yeah, you're not
I
gonna
think
play
that's the
song.
big
But
thing.
if you're averaging in your career 30 points for 14 seasons or 15 seasons.
I mean, it's
do you know
the,
what
it's
I
the
mean?
longevity of a
If
person having to be
I'm in
able to do
agreement
that.
with you. I'm just
Yeah.
simply posing the question that if scoring is going the way that it is,
Yeah.
3-point shooting is going the way that it is. I mean, we look at what Anthony Edwards is, I don't know how many points behind LeBron in the same amount of time. Do you know what I mean? Like, whereas the same amount of, or before his whatever birthday,
Right.
it's like him, Luka, I don't know who the other one was.
Yeah. I
Or
mean,
like
so
Anthony Edwards scored the most amount of threes. Like, and
It's
I
not
wouldn't
that they
even
won't be
consider,
able to score that much. It's that
you're saying the longevity of
it's
it.
the longevity
Right.
of scoring that, like to do that for 20
that
plus
many
years.
years. Yeah.
I mean, this, first of all, shout out to Brian.
No,
I mean,
ridiculous.
Obviously, shout out to Brian, but Kareem did it in the post. And it took me some time to kind of put that in my mind
Twos.
and say, so he had to get the ball. He wasn't shooting threes. I can't say he was shooting a lot of free throws because he was fading away. He was hooking them, not going into contact. So I'm like, how did he score so many
That's how
buckets?
dominant he was.
So but do we get credit? No one gives him credit, right? No one says he's
That's
a
a
GOAT.
good point, though. That's a great point.
Yeah, off of twos.
Yeah, off of twos.
He didn't
Just-
have the rock, though. He had to get the rock. You know how much
Yeah.
time off the clock is that? Back then, when they walked the ball up the floor.
Yeah.
That's a great point.
But that's what I'm saying. The changing of the game, I think we look at it in such a way that it's not possible. And I think by not possible, you all mean for a very, very, very long time. But I'm just looking at the way that the game is being played now and like some of the scores that I'm just like, wait, what? That are scoring now.
Yeah.
That makes me think that it is going to be possible for Shai Gilgeous-Alexander to average 30 this year, the next year, like with the style of the game, if that makes sense.
Yeah. I think it's just a lot of things that just go into play. Like, in the league, right? They're going to, at some point, those guys are going to be, you got to win the championship.
Mm-hmm.
So now you're going to have to sacrifice. You're going to have to, and so now it's going to change the
No,
course
you're
of you
exactly
being able
right.
to average
You're
30
exactly
a game. So it's so many things like, and for Brian to be able to go through the way that he's went through it all and play on these teams and do all this and still have the health and be able to reach 40. It's just, we're not going to see that probably.
Dwade, I'm not
storm.
denying that this dude is crazy.
Yeah, no,
I'm not denying
it's
it.
crazy.
I think what he's doing night in and night out, I mean, you talk about changing of the guard, of changing his game and adjusting his game. He's shooting almost 40% from 3 this year.
Yeah.
It's crazy. And the amount of time and energy and effort he puts into his body is crazy. I'm just simply saying from like a basketball.
Yeah.
You know,
it's possible.
How much is the 3-point game
but it's
gonna
damn not
change?
possible.
It's possible. It's damn. I agree.
You know what? I'm glad you said that because it's a question I was going to ask you. First of all, do you think that you have respect of the men's players to speak on the game?
Do I think I have the respect?
Do you think you have do you?
Yeah, I think so.
You think about it, it's not a lot of women who has that role to speak on the game like that. And I was going to ask you personally, I know how I feel, but do you feel like you have the respect of the men's game to say, yeah, what she's saying about our game, what she's saying about us is right?
I hope so. I think so. And here's the thing with respect. I think your opinion or you agreeing with what I see may not always be aligned, but the respect is what you seek because I want to come with facts. Now, do we live in a time where it's like everything's black and white? No, there's gray area as well. Right. But I hope when I come with the black and white facts that I'm coming with tape, I'm coming with reasons, I'm coming with facts. And that's the way I always try to approach it, where I might see something, but I need something else to back it up with what I feel and what I see. But yeah, it's. But
do you feel like you have to do that to get it? Like Shaq don't have to do that. Shaq just come in and call it G14 classification, and there's. Yes,
but Shaq is an anomaly because we would be on set with him and just argue that you can't just throw somebody the ball and say score. Shaq was him and Kareem probably were, and I wouldn't even put Kareem because Kareem ain't putting people in the basket.
Right, he wasn't putting them in the basket.
Like Shaq was the only one that was just like barbecue chicken, throw it to me on the block, you score. Like, we would be on set like, no, that's not how it works for normal people.
Right.
So I feel like Shaq is in a class of his own of just, he says stuff and sees the game in a way that's like, but you were the only one that could do that.
Right, and he sees it that way.
Yes, and he still sees it that way where I'll be looking at him like, you think that you're just supposed to just put him in the basket.
Yeah.
Like that doesn't, no, you're going to have to figure out how to put him in the basket.
Yeah.
Shaq doesn't see it that way.
Of course you don't. I love your perspective of the game, but I want to know that have you felt that your perspective has been, maybe like, oh, well, she don't know because she's not a man. She hasn't played this game. But, you said you come with facts, you leave with facts, you all those things. So that may not be there. I just want to know because, I don't think no one ever asked, like, how do people view Candace viewing the game? Being that she's one of the only women voices that are speaking on the game the way that she is. She's not reporting on the game. You're sitting there right away giving your analysis of the game of basketball, which you know the game better than anybody. But you know the world we live in, too.
I know the world we live in from a fan's perspective. Fans aren't going to agree with what you say until either you accomplish it or they win a parlay. Those two things.
Okay.
Yeah. And anytime I turn on the TV and they're questioning Patrick Mahomes, or anytime I turn on the TV and they're questioning LeBron James' work ethic, then I'm like, people are stupid, right? So am I paying attention to the stupid people? Or am I...
Say it louder.
Right? Am I paying attention to the stupid people? Or am I coming with facts, coming with my opinion?
Yeah.
I do feel I have the respect of my peers and the players, which is super important to me. I hope I have the respect of the fans because I do come with facts. Now, when I am wrong, I think that's when there's a difference. I'm big on, within the women's game of basketball, I don't think that there's enough scrutiny about our play. Hear me out. Okay. So as a woman, because the game has been attacked so much by people sitting in their basement that can't dunk a donut, let alone a basketball, they're the ones that have driven the narrative that nobody watches women's sports. Women's basketball is terrible. They say all these terrible things as an egg on X, and right? So many people have become protective of the game of basketball that they cannot take criticism, that nobody's allowed to criticize the game. But guess what? I want to criticize on the first morning show. Is Dwade is he gonna get to the basket? Is he gonna get to the free throw line? Or is he gonna settle for the catch and shoot, which is what the Spurs want y'all to do? Right? But you can't do that in the women's game. But there's also a line where if a woman makes a mistake, then they're like, go make a sandwich in the kitchen, go do this. I'm cool if you attack my words and my play and my facts. But when you start attacking what I should be doing of making sandwiches and being in the kitchen, to me, is like, that is crazy. And then just being completely honest, when I go to it and I see that it's a Black man that's doing this, but then the next tweet that they're making is about how Black people need to be seen in this light and not be told to go back and shut up and dribble. That's the thing that pisses me off the most, because you want to see it when you're in the minority, but you don't want to see it when you're actually the one that can promote change and actually be a voice of attacking what I say. Do you know what I mean? Like Stephen A can sit up there and they're never going to attack him being Black because that's off topic. But me, they'll attack me being a woman and go back to playing your role. Right. Even though Stephen A has never dribbled the basketball in the NBA.
Too. That's lazy.
Yes, but criticism. It's allowed. It's allowed because it's like the woman topic, I think, especially now with the way sports are going and how that's going to be something that in 15, 20 years, people are going to get canceled for. There are so many podcasts and X and that say stuff that are it's so just negative against women and sexist, but it's not looked at in that light. And that's not carried into our culture today, because it's like, you can do that. And I feel like now we're at a point, I hope with this generation, that is like, no, like we're not gonna be allowed to do that.
You know, I think it's one topic that, I mean, you just said something that kind of took my mind to what I've said a lot about the Black community, about the African American community is, you know, we are a community who feel like we haven't had a voice and we haven't been accepted, and we all the things. But in the midst of that, when I look out and most of the hate that our family received for supporting our daughter, Zaya, is coming from the same community, right? The same community that, you know, wants to be seen, wants to be heard, wants to have opportunities, want all these things. We're looking at another community and we're looking down on that community, and we're the loudest ones that, you know, is trying to, you know, talk about the LGBT community. And it's like, but we're fighting to be, we want to be seen, we want to be accepted. This community is doing the same thing, but we're the loudest ones to say, you know, it's sounding like pushing them back. Like, no, don't get in front of us, you know? And I hate that. I hate the fact that on one side, you know, we will protest and we will say all these things. And then on the other side, we're going to talk about another community, and we're going to, you know what I mean? We're going to try to hush another community. But it's like, bro, like, we know what that feels like. We know that we haven't been able to constantly grow the way we want to because of those things, but we're going to do the same thing. It doesn't make sense to me.
It doesn't make sense. And it's interesting when it's the oppressed and the oppressor, but then in some communities, you have the opportunity to be both in different situations. And as Black men, you can be the oppressed and the oppressor. And as white women, you can be the oppressed and the oppressor. I don't really have that choice. And I always tell everybody, like, I check pretty much a lot of boxes, as does your family, right? And you're right. I think that there's a way where people stand up and say these things, but don't understand how powerful and hurtful, like, attack my opinions, attack what I say. Don't attack my character or who I am or who I choose to go home to or the kids I'm raising. Like, don't attack that. Yeah. And I think you're right. There are certain communities that want to play both sides when it's convenient.
How much does that affect you when people are attacking? I mean, as someone who's, you know, you have a public life, even though you have a private life, it's still public and people can comment on your life publicly. How much does that affect you and or your family?
Not anymore. I think initially it did a lot.
Yeah.
It did a lot. It really did. Because you are trying to be okay with yourself and what you're choosing in your life choices. And then you add on top of that other people's opinions of you. But also, Dwade, like, let's not steer around this. We get into the why. I didn't want to fit into the box of what a WNBA player was, right? Like, a lot of times you're brought up and it's like the WNBA, the entire WNBA is gay.
Mm-hmm. Like,
that's just what they are, like, da-da-da-da. And it's like, okay, but are we understanding the individuals and the people and that there's other things outside of that? I didn't want to fit into that box for a very long time.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that part of that reasoning was because of what the world would do.
Definitely.
You know, we've had numerous conversations about this.
Mm-hmm.
And at the end of the day, I choose to not let that impact my decisions and who I am and who I go home to and how much I genuinely enjoy being around my family and the people I love. And so, yeah, will I chuckle at a comment or whatever and just be like, man, that person is really, you know, I feel bad for that person. Yeah. Yes, but then, you know, you say a little too much.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to respect. There's Chicago in me.
Okay, so you've grown to that point, obviously now. Like the growth is beautiful. But I'm sure early on, right? Early in you and An's relationship, was that a part of the thought process? Was I'm falling in love, you know, with this woman, and it's a perception already out there about us. I don't. Was it a part of you like, no, I don't want to love this person because of that perception?
1,000%. I mean, we check every box not to be together.
Yeah.
Think about it. Like, she's Russian, we in America, like black, white. I mean, all of the above. We both women. Like, we check every single box. So there were so many times where it was like, is this worth it? You know, and every single time we'd ask ourselves that, we would always say yes. And I can't tell my daughter to follow her heart and her love and do what makes her happy if I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
And I know we've had so many conversations, but also I think as a little sister, I've been so proud at the example that you've set for Black men, because it's important to set those examples, because you don't know who is looking at you for advice, who is looking at you as an example, and not just you're unbelievable basketball player, Hall of Fame, so proud of that. But it's also changing the mentality and the perceptions of relationships that are important. And for me, I think it is a little bit of okay, we didn't expect Candace to be like this. Okay, there's so many moms that have come up to me and had conversations about their daughters. There was a couple that came up to me in Indy and was asking me about, like, you know, we want to come out, but we don't know if it's the right time. Like, there's so many people that are battling secret battles that you don't know how much you're really impacting that. Yeah. And so I think just from me looking at you and you as an NBA player, that's a lot. That in itself has its perceptions of what you're masculine. Like, you're supposed to be masculine. You're supposed to be all these things. Yeah. You're supposed to handle yourself this way. You're not supposed to paint your nails. Like, exactly.
Manicure, pedicure.
But why? Right?
Exactly.
Why? And that's what I had to ask myself. Like, why am I doing this? I'm doing this to please all these other people. Yeah. So we've grown into that for sure.
Yeah, you've grown into that. I mean, obviously we all have, right? Like, we come from a world, we come from communities, and things that we heard that, it doesn't make us want to just go out and do it. But ultimately, you know, when you love someone, when you love something, you know, you're gonna give your all to it, because that's who you are. You're all in type person when it gets to love. And so I love it. You know, I love, you know, obviously I felt like I was one of the ones that got a chance to see you and An's love before the world was exposed to it, which was beautiful, you know, to see, because it was just for you guys. And I don't think people understand, in the light that we live in, you don't have a lot of moments where you can really be kind of things in your life that are off the grid and away from everyone's, comments, etc. And so when you were able to have that moment, I'm a little jealous that you had that time where it was just about you guys, and it was just about your family. And it was great for Layla, you know what I mean? That you guys had that before the world had a chance to now jump in on whatever
and tell and express their opinions. And, you know, I guess my question to you is, because people always ask me, like, do you see yourself as an example? Like, did you start off seeing yourself as an example or an opportunity, or was it just this is how I have to love my children.
Yeah, it was that. It was really, it's all about, my kids. I always tell people all the time, I'm so in love with my kids. They all got the best versions of me, the ones I'm still searching for. But it had nothing to do with nothing but, just being there and being what you are. You're a protector, you're a provider, you're all these things to your kids. And so we live in this public world where, publicly you have to protect, at the same time. And so mine was, I wanted my child to not have to, go through life and what if. I wanted my child to go through life and just to feel that she can do anything in this world. We talk to our kids about, having no boundaries. And as parents, we put boundaries on them because of the boundaries that was put on us. And so I didn't want to put any, I worked hard to kind of erase boundaries to allow them to go out and create the life they want. Why would I put that boundary on you? Because it's something I don't understand. Right. And so for me, the first thing was like, okay, outside of all this, Candace, I got to get to understand, because I obviously I don't. Right. And now I got to get to the point where my daughter's so comfortable with me that she can help me understand at the same time. And so it was so much work that needed to be done as a parent that I had to do. Forget the world. I had to do so much work when it came to like how I showed up. I thought I was doing a good parenting job, but I realized I didn't know enough about my child, or my child didn't feel comfortable enough for me to know a lot about. And I'm a present father. And so, but now, yes, we go around the world and we meet so many kids, we meet so many families that are appreciative of the moments when we speak out and we stand up and, we celebrate, our daughter in our community.
I love that, because sometimes when you support, you think you're supporting in a way that is going to benefit your daughter. But to know and to learn and to try to grow to be better for them, I think that that's what is super special. I just remember feeling so much support from my family. Mm-hmm. And even though it wasn't considered a big thing in the world, people they're in same-sex relationships all the time, but it was a big deal for me, because for so long I felt like I was letting myself down, my family down. And why would you want to feel like that when this is one of the best moments of your life? Like, I love somebody, right? Mm-hmm. And I think it's just honestly my daughter as well who made me see that this is normal. This is her normal. And we focus so much on what's normal, but it's what about our normal? Right. We can make this our normal. Mm-hmm. And that's the biggest thing. I learned so much from her. So similar to how you're learning from your daughter, I learned that
everything don't look like the sitcoms.
It doesn't, and it doesn't have to.
It doesn't have to look like the sitcoms.
But I love my life. I'm grateful for my life. I'm grateful for my wife and my kids. And I just got to a point where it was like, I'm okay in this space. Yeah.
And I mean, we can talk for hours, and we're going to do another part 2 and another time, and part 3. But at this point, knowing all that, obviously, we touched on sports just to give some of the fans a little background on Candace Parker, but you guys can Google all that. I think, this interview is about getting to the person, getting to how you think about things. And how I want to end it is how I always end it is, what's your why, Candace? All the things you've accomplished, all the things that you've set out to accomplish, you've done a lot of them, I'm sure. So as you sit here now and you're, however more years you want to play in the game of basketball, the businesswoman you are, the things you do in the community, shout out to the 3 Strike for the things that you guys do together. What is your why at this point and going forward?
I had a whole thing, and then now I'm like, that's not my why. I can't. I think my why is any environment or any situation I go into, I want to leave better. Mm-hmm. And that has always been my purpose. My why is my people and my passions. I love my people hard. And I love chasing my passions. And I think because of that, Like I don't know, that's my why. So through those two things, whatever it is, I hope to leave it better. So that's my why.
That's your why.